Hello and welcome dear learners to yet another continuing lecture on promotion strategy in rural marketing, specifically focusing on the pivotal roles of public relations, publicity and personal selling. We have discussed the importance of personal selling and now we will delve deeper into its specific role and effectiveness in engaging rural consumers. You will find that in the rural context, personal selling is often the linchpin, that is, the critical element that holds the marketing strategy together and successfully turns initial interest, perhaps generated by PR or publicity, into actual product adoption. So, why does personal selling hold such a pivotal position in rural India? One of the primary roles of personal selling is education and demonstration. Many products, especially if they are new categories for rural consumers, like think of items like water purifiers, specialized farm equipment or even financial services like insurance, require detailed explanation and often a physical demonstration. A personal salesperson, whether a direct company representative or a locally appointed dealer, can effectively show how to use the product, patiently answer questions in the local language and most importantly, tailor their explanation to address the specific needs or doubts of that individual customer. This educative role is absolutely vital in rural areas where consumers might not have easy access to online information or may not fully trust impersonal mass advertisements. For instance, selling a new variety of a high yield crop seed might involve the salesperson setting up and showing a small demonstration plot within the village, or introducing a new type of cooking stove might require a live cooking demonstration in front of homemakers. Can you see how such interactive, personalized communication helps overcome skepticism and navigate potential barriers like functional illiteracy? Secondly, personal selling is exceptionally effective at building trust through relationships. As we have emphasized before, trust is a fundamental currency in rural markets. Personal selling allows a company to put a human face to its brand. A salesperson who visits regularly, who takes the time to interact beyond just a sales pitch, becomes a familiar and often trusted figure over time. Through these repeated, consistent interactions, a good salesperson develops a genuine rapport with families, learns their preferences, understands their challenges and can even evolve into a problem solver or a trusted advisor. For example, advising farmers on best agricultural practices, not just pushing the products. This naturally fosters deep loyalty. Unlike the often impersonal nature of mass marketing, personal selling in rural markets is inherently relationship driven, frequently leading to long-term client relationships. Many companies further enhance this by ensuring their rural salespeople come from similar backgrounds as their customers, speak the local dialect fluently and understand local customs, which cements comfort and trust. The third crucial role is addressing customer queries and objections. Rural consumers, as we have noted, tend to be cautious buyers. They will often have numerous questions or specific concerns before committing to a purchase. Think about it. They might ask, will this new fertilizer damage my soil in the long run? Or does this solar lantern really work well during the monsoon season? Or can I pay for this product in installments after my harvest? Now, a personal seller is essential to handle these questions effectively on a case-by-case basis. Unlike a static advertisement, a salesperson can immediately clarify any misconceptions, provide detailed explanations and offer reassurance, sometimes by providing a small product sample or arranging a trial period. This real-time two-way communication significantly increases the likelihood of converting initial interest into an actual sale. Furthermore, these interactions provide an invaluable feedback loop to the company, highlighting common consumer concerns and perceptions. Another significant advantage of personal selling is the localized flexibility in sales terms it can offer. A salesperson on the ground can introduce a degree of flexibility that mass channels simply cannot accommodate. For example, they might be able to negotiate tailored payment plans, offer small amount of informal credit, or create customized product bundles based on a specific customer's situation and affordability. In many rural areas, incomes are not regular but seasonal. For instance, farmers typically earn a bulk of their income after the harvest. A personal sales approach allows for timing purchases accordingly or making arrangements for payment in installments. Such adaptability by salespeople makes product more accessible and demonstrates that the company understands and respects the financial constraints of its rural customers. It is not uncommon for a rural sales agent to at times even play the role of a microfinancer, perhaps extending credit till the harvest comes in, or in some traditional setups even accepting part payment in the form of an agricultural produce. These practices clearly require a high degree of personal judgment and mutual trust. Personal selling is also instrumental in ensuring coverage of the last mile and penetrating new markets. Often, a salesperson is the very first point of contact a brand makes in a remote or previously unreached area. A salesperson traveling by motorcycle or even a bicycle can reach villages where traditional media has little to no penetration. In this sense, they act as a moving billboard and a direct brand ambassador, sometimes literally carrying a bag of products to demonstrate and sell. In places where established retail stores are scarce or non-existent, direct person-to-person selling, perhaps through door-to-door visits or by organizing small village meetings, becomes the only viable way to generate sales. For instance, many direct-to-consumer companies may successfully use networks of local agents, often women entrepreneurs, to sell items like toiletries and cosmetics through doorstep selling, thereby penetrating deep into hamlets that would otherwise remain unserved. This personal touch also greatly helps in generating referrals. A satisfied customer introduced to the product by a salesperson is likely to tell their neighbors, and the salesperson can then leverage this positive word of mouth to get warm introductions to new potential customers within the same village. Furthermore, information or a recommendation coming from a personable, known individual often carries significantly higher credibility and influence than an impersonal advertisement. Rural consumers are more likely to perceive the salesperson as an expert or an authority on the product, especially if the salesperson demonstrates genuine knowledge and understanding. If the salesperson hails from their own community or region, this credibility is amplified even further. They are often seen more as a helpful friend or a reliable advisor rather than just a seller trying to meet a target. This dynamic is particularly crucial for products that require a change in behavior or a shift from traditional practices. For example, convincing households to switch from homemade solutions to a branded product, or to adopt new hygiene practices like using water purifiers or toilets. In such cases, the salesperson often has to do more than just sell the product. They have to sell the idea behind the product, persuading consumers of the underlying benefits. This requires immense empathy, patience, and a level of personal influence that only a human agent can effectively provide. Lastly, But very importantly, personal selling often extends to providing after sales service and support. In many rural areas, customers may not have easy access to formal service centers or dedicated customer care helplines. In such scenarios, the salesperson frequently doubles up as the primary after sales service provider. What might this involve now, dear learners? Well, it could be checking if the customer is facing any issues with the product, helping with its installation or guiding them through its first use, and generally ensuring their satisfaction post purchase. This follow up is a critical part of building a positive customer experience and consequently generating favorable word of mouth publicity for the brand. For instance, an agricultural equipment salesperson might revisit a farmer a week after a sale to ensure that a new water pump is working correctly, or a seed seller might follow up to inquire about germination rates. These actions effectively reassure buyers that the company stands behind its product, which in turn leads to repeat sales and valuable referrals. Don't you agree to this, my dear learners? So, overall, personal selling proves highly effective in rural consumer engagement, primarily because it humanizes the marketing process. It aligns perfectly with the strong oral traditions and the community oriented nature of rural life. However, it is important to acknowledge that maintaining a large dedicated sales force can be very resource intensive. To address this, companies, however, it is important to acknowledge that maintaining a large dedicated sales force can be very resource intensive. To address this, companies have been innovating with various models. One prominent model is the rise of micro entrepreneurship models, where local individuals are empowered and trained to become sales agents or distributors for the company's products. Think of initiatives like Hindustan Unilever's Project Shakti. What does this achieve? Well, it allows companies to scale the invaluable personal touch across vast rural areas without the need to employ a massive salaried workforce. When executed well, personal selling creates a virtuous cycle. Customers develop trust in the person who sells to them. This trust translates into loyalty towards the brand, and satisfied, loyal customers then become advocates themselves, further extending the brand's reach through positive word of mouth. Now, let us quickly recap the multifaceted role of personal selling in rural markets. It is a linchpin because it effectively educates and demonstrates products, especially new or complex ones. It is crucial for building trust by humanizing the brand and fostering long-term relationships. It capably addresses customer concerns and objections in real time. It offers valuable flexibility in sales terms, adapting to local economic realities. It ensures last mile reach, taking brands to remote areas and opening new markets. It carries higher credibility and influence than impersonal media, often driving behavior change. And finally, it provides essential after sales support, ensuring customer satisfaction. In essence, personal selling offers a personalized, interactive and trust-based approach that is fundamental for successful consumer engagement in the unique rural context. While PR, publicity and personal selling are powerful, their true potential in rural marketing is unlocked when they are integrated with other elements of the promotional mix. For maximum effectiveness, companies need to adopt a holistic strategy. It's important to remember that while rural media habits are distinct, Rural consumers today are not entirely disconnected from mass media or emerging digital channels. A holistic approach ensures that there is consistent messaging across all potential touchpoints a consumer might encounter, and it strategically leverages the unique strength of each promotional tool. So, how is this integration typically achieved? Well, think, dear learners. Now, one common method is advertising and mass media synchronization. Even with limited reach, many companies strategically use channels like radio, regional print media, or local television advertising in conjunction with their on ground PR, publicity, and personal selling activities. For example, a company might run a catchy radio jingle about a new product during the same period that its sales teams are touring villages in that region with demonstration vans. Now, what is the synergy here? The radio advertisement primes the audience, creating initial awareness and curiosity. The personal selling visit or the demo van then provides the detailed follow up, the opportunity to experience the product, and the channel to make a purchase. Since rural consumers often gather information from multiple sources, maintaining consistency in the core message, the main slogan, or the key benefit is highlighted across these different channels, and it is crucial. This reinforcement builds much stronger brand recall and enhances credibility. The consumer might think, I heard about this product on the radio and now this person is here explaining it further. It must be important and trustworthy. Isn't it, dear learners? Next is the alignment with sales promotions. Tools like free samples, special discounts, or attractive bundle deals are frequently used to directly support personal selling efforts and PR activities. In a rural context, a personal salesperson might carry small sample sachets of a product like shampoo or tea to give away during household visits or at a mela. These act as effective door openers, allowing the salesperson to initiate a conversation, and they also create goodwill, which is a subtle PR effect. Conversely, publicity events can be strategically tied to promotional schemes. For example, during a village fair, a company could announce a special fair day only discount. This generates immediate excitement and publicity and also drives on the spot sales. By aligning sales promotions with personal selling and publicity, companies ensure that once interest is created, there is a tangible call to action and an incentive for consumers to try or purchase the product. This alignment also extends to trade. A rural retailer might be more easily persuaded by a salesperson to stock a new brand if the company offers attractive point of sale display materials and perhaps a small bonus for achieving initial sales targets. With the increasing penetration of mobile phones, even in deeper rural India, there is a growing opportunity for digital and mobile integration into these traditional promotion efforts. How does this work? Some companies equip their rural sales agents with tablet computers or smartphones that are loaded with multilingual video clips demonstrating product usage or showcasing testimonials. During a sales call, the agent might show a farmer a short engaging video on how a particular pesticide should be correctly sprayed or how a solar lamp functions. This effectively merges the personal touch of selling with a powerful visual aid from the digital realm. Similarly, platforms like WhatsApp are becoming common communication channels within rural communities. Savvy marketers sometimes facilitate the creation of village level WhatsApp groups, perhaps through a local influencer, and then periodically share useful informational content or success stories. This acts as a form of ongoing low cost PR, complementing the physical visits by salespeople. While connectivity challenges do remain in some areas, the clear trend is towards an integrated communication strategy where offline activities and online engagements reinforce each other. For example, a publicity event like a company sponsored crop seminar might be followed up with SMS reminders of key tips, or an interactive voice response or the IVR call summarizing the information discussed, thereby keeping the engagement alive. Crucially, integration also means ensuring unified brand messaging and positioning across all channels. All PR initiatives, publicity efforts, and the scripts or talking points used by personal sellers must consistently convey a coherent and singular brand identity and promise. Let us take an example. If a brand's core positioning is, say, affordable quality for the entire family, then how might this be reflected? Well, the PR activities might involve sponsoring community events that emphasize family welfare. The publicity generated might highlight the product's value, perhaps through testimonials focusing on how long the product lasts or its multi-user benefits. And the personal seller, in their interactions with each household, will consistently emphasize how the product specifically benefits their family at an affordable cost. This unified messaging is vital to prevent consumer confusion and to maximize the overall impact of the promotional spend. Rural marketing agencies often craft detailed integrated marketing communication plans for their campaigns. These plans map out precisely how an advertising slogan will be translated into a folk song for village shows, into key talking points for salespeople, and into the visuals used for wall paintings, ensuring a seamless and consistent narrative across all mediums. An often overlooked but very important aspect of integration is creating a robust feedback loop integration. This involves systematically using the rich qualitative feedback gathered from personal selling interactions to inform and adjust PR and advertising messages. Rural salespeople and field staff are in a unique position to gather valuable on the ground intelligence, like what consumers genuinely like about a product, what myths or concerns they harbor, which features they value most, and what language resonates with them. Companies that integrate well have systems to channel this information back to their central marketing teams. These teams can then use these insights to tweak the next publicity campaign, adjusting the messaging in advertisements or develop new informational materials. For example, if salespeople consistently report that many villagers mistrust a product's durability, the next PR initiative might involve a very public demonstration of its sturdiness, perhaps even a destructive test in the village square to prove its resilience. In this way, personal selling and PR work hand in hand. Personal selling identifies the gaps in consumer knowledge or trust, and PR and publicity then work strategically to fill those gaps on a broader scale. Effective rural marketing also demands close collaboration with distribution or place strategies. Promotion, particularly PR, publicity and personal selling, cannot operate in a vacuum isolated from product availability. A classic integration scenario occurs when a company decides to enter a new rural region. They typically work on two fronts simultaneously: setting up the distribution network, which might involve appointing a village level dealer or stockist, and running local PR and publicity campaigns to generate initial demand. The salesperson often plays a crucial role in connecting these two aspects. Their job might involve not only selling to the newly appointed retailer, but also helping that retailer generate consumer sales from that outlet. For instance, when a consumer goods company expands to a new administrative block, it might run advertisements on the local radio stating product X is now available at the XYZ village store. This is publicity directly aiding distribution. Simultaneously, they might have their salesperson organize a small launch even at that very store, perhaps offering free samples or introductory discounts. Now, that is personal selling combined with sales promotion, all localized at the point of sale. This integrated approach is crucial in rural markets to avoid a frustrating situation where consumers hear about an exciting new product through promotional efforts, but then cannot find it to buy. Such a disconnect would quickly erode trust and negate the promotional investment. In essence, integrating PR, publicity and personal selling with other promotional tools as well as with distribution leads to what is often termed as holistic rural marketing strategy or a 360-degree campaign. The beauty of this approach is that each element amplifies the effectiveness of other, creating a powerful synergy. For example, well executed PR builds credibility, which makes consumers more receptive to subsequent advertisements. Effective advertising creates initial awareness and interest, which in turn makes the salesperson's job of initiating a conversation much easier. The success stories and testimonials gathered by salespeople on the ground can then become compelling content for future PR activities or even for sharing on emerging rural social media platforms. This interconnectedness creates a seamless and reinforcing brand experience for the rural consumer, maximizing impact and fostering stronger, more sustainable engagement. So, to briefly recap this section on integration, we have seen that synchronizing with advertising allows mass media to prime audiences for personal selling. Aligning sales promotions provides tangible incentives that drive trial and purchase. Embracing digital and mobile tools can enhance demonstrations and facilitate ongoing consumer contact. Crucially, unifying brand messaging ensures a consistent and coherent story across all touchpoints. Creating feedback loops allows valuable on-ground insights from personal selling to refine broader PR and advertising strategies. And finally, linking closely with distribution ensures that product availability matches the demand generated by promotional efforts. Adopting such a 360-degree integrated approach is key to maximizing reach, achieving deep resonance and ultimately delivering superior results in the complex rural marketing landscape. Dear learners, as marketers, it is essential to understand the values, beliefs and customs of rural communities. In our next video lecture, we will discuss the key ethical and cultural considerations for effective rural promotion. Till we meet again, happy learning and keep up the good faith.